This is Houston Newsmakers with Cambrell Marshall.
And good morning. I'm Andy Cerota in for Cambrell Marshall this morning. It's been a generation since the tax code was overhauled top to bottom, and there are calls for a simpler tax code that protects taxpayers. We're joined this morning by Congressman Kevin Brady, the senior member of the U.S. House Ways and Means Committee and chairman of the Joint Economic Committee. Welcome. Nice to see you.
Hey, Andy.
And we also have Melissa Rascon, who is an accountant with Oman Berry and Associates in the Woodlands and works with small businesses. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Congressman, I'm going to start with you. You talk about the tax code being unfair to families, unfair to businesses, unfair to America. What's wrong with it?
Well, you know, it's too complex, it's too costly, and I think it is unfair. Families can't keep up with the 4,000 changes that have occurred just in the last decade. Most businesses need help preparing it. Small businesses often pay higher taxes than big businesses, and then big businesses, or at least in Texas, in America, when we try to compete around the world, we're often at a disadvantage because of our tax code. So my thought is this is a huge drag on the economy, and we really need a simpler, fair, flatter tax code for families and businesses.
Melissa, let's bring this home. The current tax code, the way it's written, what does it mean for John Q. Public or the small business owner, your clients?
Oh gosh, endless record keeping, lots of hours in tax prep to comply with the law, and endless high tax fees for the taxpayer. A lot of my clients are wanting to grow their companies, and it's very difficult for them to do that when they're so focused and stressed out on trying to comply with the law. And so in that, they want to contribute to the economy as well and helping it grow, and it's hurting the economy for them not to be able to focus on that.
Congressman, you talk about the need for a tax code built on growth. What are the fundamental principles?
Yeah, I think we need a tax code that's simpler and fair and flatter, that protects taxpayers, not special interests, and allows America to compete and win around the world. I think that would mean the simpler, fair, flatter really means rather than 6 rates, perhaps no more than 2. Instead of a tax rate as high as 44% for some Americans, something in the mid-20s at the most. You know, I want a tax code that doesn't tax small businesses more than big businesses. Again, allows us to compete. I think people ought to be able to do their taxes without paying a tax preparer for them to do that. I think those are some of the elements. The other thought is the way we lower rates is to close a lot of the loopholes and deductions so you can lower those rates for everybody. I think that's really one of the biggest problems with the code we have today.
And Melissa, what are your clients looking for in terms of a simpler tax code?
Oh, there are many things they would want to look for, but to sum it up for them would be to simplify the home office deduction, which I think it has, with the introduction of the simplified home deduction, has helped with that, but also to eliminate AMT. They would love to see that go away, and also to alleviate the tax implications with the various corporate structures, so that they don't have to focus so much on what type of structure they're going to put their company in, an LLC, an S Corp versus sole proprietorship, but just be able to do it without having to spend all that money to determine which way to go.
Congressman, you have a website set up for tax reform that has a lot of information. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, we're doing 30 town hall meetings this August, but we've supplemented with a web page, has not only the schedule, but allows people to come to it, tell us their ideas, answer questions about tax reform. It's kevinbrady.house.gov/tax reform, or just come to our website and we've got a big icon right on the right side.
Melissa, in terms of your clients, you must get hear and see a lot of frustration from them.
Complete frustration. It's very frustrating for me to feel my clients' frustration along the way, because they are so focused on getting their business off and running and growing that when they are constantly hit with trying to comply with the law. That's all they're trying to do, is comply with the law, and having to spend all this endless time and money just to do that is very frustrating to them, because they want to grow, and every dollar and hour that they put toward trying to comply with this very complex tax law is an hour and a dollar taken away from their ability to grow.
You expecting a big turnout at some of these events that you'll be hosting?
Yeah, we do, just simply because I think people can't understand the tax code. It's 4 million words long, as one person put it. It's 10 times the size of the Bible with none of the good news. I think enough is enough for most Americans.
All right, Congressman, thank you very much. Melissa Rascon, appreciate you both being here this morning. You're not going anywhere. We're going to have more with you coming up in just a little bit. And we're going to hear what family-owned business owners think needs to change in our tax code. Welcome back to Newsmakers. We are joined once again this morning by Congressman Kevin Brady, the senior member of the U.S. House Ways and Means Committee and the chairman of the Joint Economic Committee. And also, we are joined now by Amy Milstead of the Milstead Towing and Automotive Company up here in Spring. Nice to see you both. Thank you. Congressman, I'm going to start with you again. How long does it take families and small businesses to prepare their taxes?
The answer is way too long. For families, it takes about 15 hours on average to prepare. For businesses, it is much, much longer because it's a continual process. But the drag on the economy, they estimate the businesses and families waste $160 billion every year, with a B, billion, just to try to keep up with the tax code. And as you know, the IRS is pretty unforgiving. So if you make a mistake, the consequences are pretty serious.
Amy, with the tax code the way it is, tell me about how it impacts you and your business.
It's a heavy strain on business owners. We do all we can just to take care of our customers at Milstead. We want to serve the public, and with tax restraints, I mean, it's just so much more that we don't have in our day-to-day time. We have to hire CPAs, we have to hire accountants, and we're constantly trying to make sure that they're doing things right and worrying about how we're running our business, and if we're going to have a problem come up, just taking it day by day.
Congressman, the tax code, the way it's written, there's an impact here locally on jobs and the economy. Talk about that.
Yeah, we think there's a big impact. Experts believe that if we rewrite the tax code from top to bottom, simplify it, make it flatter, make it fair, that we can generate in America 1 million extra jobs in the first year. Regions like ours, Texas and Houston, who sell and ship and compete around the world, right now the code we have today is the worst. Making it one of the best would allow them to compete, create jobs here in Houston, bring those dollars back and reinvest it in our region in research and new jobs, new buildings, just growth. And so that's why I say we need a tax code built for growth, for your family, for our businesses like Amy's, and I think for our country.
Amy, what would you like to see change in terms of the tax code? What would make it easier for you?
Simplify it. Easy enough. Simplify it. Make it to where, it's not as deep as it is. It's a little bit easier for the average consumer to understand, the average business owner. We don't know anything about all that. We have to pay someone to do that. We're so busy trying to run our business. Just make it simple for us.
You talked about these 30 town halls that you're going to be hosting. What are you hoping to gain from your constituents when you're out there speaking with them?
Yeah, we want their best ideas, Andy. We want to know what they think about what's wrong with the current code, what they think ought to be the highest priority for fixing it. I want to ask, are you willing to see some changes in some of the loopholes and deductions and exemptions if it would lower your tax rate? And then I want, hopefully, them to volunteer to be part of this, because in the Ways and Means Committee, we're going to bring out a top-to-bottom revised tax code when we come back in the fall. There's plenty of folks in Washington who would just keep things the way they are. So we're going to need grassroots support in the end to get this done.
And Amy, what are you paying in terms of taxes right now?
Too much. I'll just say that. They hit us quarterly, they hit us monthly. It's taxes every time you turn around. I'm paying taxes, and just way too much.
Okay. We appreciate you both being here this morning. Look forward to hearing and seeing more about your town halls. You said you're hosting 30 of them
this month.
All right, wonderful. Thank you both. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk with HISD officials about security measures.